Hey guys, what's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think about Switzerland? Maybe cheese, chocolate, mountains. I think you should add really good FPV frames to your list because this is the RisikiX, and as you can clearly see, this little guy is Swiss. It comes from a company called fpvframe.ch, and it's a really good frame. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at the frame and my build. Alright, let's go through the specs of this frame. Now, as you can see, this is a 3-inch stretch X layout, which will give you better racing performance and better airflow to the rear props. So, I would say this is a ultralight 3-inch. I mean, you could call it toothpick, but it's pretty far away from the original toothpick concept, but what it shares is the fact that it's a very light 3-inch setup. The frame itself is 23 grams, the one here, I have the one I weighted, and it's got a pretty interesting construction and a bunch of very cool features. So first cool feature, twist lock battery mount. So you get one or two, I think it's two of these TPU printed battery mounts, and they are also on Thingiverse, so you will be able to print as many of these as you wish and just put them on your batteries, and ta-da! Really neat. Holds the XT30 in place, no more annoying battery straps. That's really a very nice and clean solution, and also it's like a tiny Swiss flag here. Really well designed and well thought through. Another cool feature is this, I would call it carbon aluminum hybrid canopy here. So as you can see, we have some carbon fiber braces here along this canopy. Aluminum standoffs going through it, so you have 4 standoffs giving this a lot of rigidity. And then we have the TPU parts in between here, contributing to this very nice design and protecting your components. So very good component protection through this brace. What is also very smart is that this is mounted completely on TPU. So you can see this piece of TPU is sort of sitting in between the sandwich plates and the arms. And there's a standoff going through, fixing these carbon braces and the whole canopy unit here to the frame. And the smart thing about this is, I mean, if you crash, all that energy needs to go somewhere. So either something will break, which is a bad thing, or something will flex, which is the better option. And in this case, you can have some, because of this piece of TPU, you can have some flex between this canopy and the frame. So as you see, it's sort of decoupled. So if you crash into a gate while racing or anything massive, it won't give. This will allow this frame to absorb some of the energy of the impact and again protect your frame and the components. So really very well engineered structure here. Also these boomerang arms, these are boomerang arms, so they are going all the way through. This is one piece, are really pretty stiff, and of course they are replaceable. So in contrast to, for example, one of these unibody classic, let's call it classic toothpick designs with a single carbon plate where you have to replace the whole thing, this will allow you to swap the arms. Now, the arms are sandwiched between these two plates here. Looks to me like probably 2mm plates. Let me just quickly measure those. Oh yeah, I forgot to grab my tool before starting to record. Now let's measure all this carbon here. So we have 3mm arms. The bottom plates are probably 2mm. No, it's 1.5. I was wrong. And this structure here 1.52. So 1.5 and 3mm plates should be pretty solid for this weight. So my build is 70 something grams. Yeah, come on. Yep, 72, which isn't bad. I mean, this frame is 23 grams, so it's more than a unibody toothpick frame like this one, which is 7 grams plus 2 for the canopy, so maybe like 9 or 10 grams. But, of course, you have way better component protection here and replaceable arms, which will kind of make up for the disadvantage of slightly higher weight, I would say. Now, I mean, as you can see, really well engineered structure, should hold up to a lot of abuse, but I mean, that's in my opinion good, but that's not something that really impressed me. But what really impressed me was all this attention to detail that Laurin, the guy that runs this company and designs the frame, put into this little RisikiX here. Now, we already saw this really neat twist lock battery mount. I mean, he didn't invent that, that already existed as far as I know, but it's really cool to integrate this in this frame. But let's just look at the details here in the rear. So you got this little sort of mount for linear antenna, really neat. So no need to zip tie your stuff here on your frame. Super clean, holds nicely. Then we have this little TPU loop here, which is holding a capacitor. So super neat. This one is just soldered here to the ESC, nicely held in place. And we have this sort of TPU part holding the battery wires. This is super neat. I also put my receiver antenna through there. I don't know if that's a very good idea, but it was just too lazy to properly mount them. Yeah, and the last really good feature is that you can actually just unscrew these rear screws here holding this sort of canopy thing, and then just pop it open and access all your components. So let me quickly do this. I think I won't be able to fully open this because I slightly messed up while mounting this, and the wires going to the camera are too short, so I won't be able to flip it completely open because they will pull on the cam. But as you can see, you can just flip this open, and if you're not as stupid as me and leave the wires going to the camera long enough, so take care to do that, you can flip this all the way open and access all your components. So that's super, super, super neat. All right, let's close this up again. Now just to quickly walk you through my build. So I use AMX 1303 with the 1380 props. So this is the Kebab FPV AMX Corporation motor. And I used a 16x16 HAK RC stack. I mean, I haven't tested this yet, but this looks pretty promising, because this stack doesn't have these stupid pin connectors that most of the other stacks have. It's just got, let me quickly grab some stuff to illustrate this. Now, this stack here, and it's hard to see because it's kind of hidden now, but it's got one of these connectors, just a smaller one between ESC and FC, while, and now let me grab a bunch of other 16x16s. All right, here we go. Now, while most of the other 16x16 have these sorts of pin connectors, which are, yeah, why? Just why? So, of course, they go together here, and you have these rigid pins going from the ESC to the flight controller or vice versa. And of course, this is pretty stupid because this whole thing is soft mounted. You can see these mounts are rubber, so these boards will move relative to each other, but then we have a stiff connection here on the pins. So, of course, these won't last very long. And I already crashed a quad where this was in, and immediately these pins completely bent. I had to bend them back. I think they're still not perfect. I hope they work. I haven't tried out, but this whole pin connector thing is stupid. And the reason why I choose this HAK-RC stack is basically because it doesn't have these pin connectors. So I leave a link to this stack in the comments. I mean, the rest is pretty basic. Ishi Nano, Nano 2 cam. So really cool little racer. And I think this is sort of your perfect micro daily driver quad because of the very good component protection. You should be able to use this thing for a long time and put it through a lot of abuse without having to repair or replace anything. Another nice feature that I forgot about is the motor mounts here are 9mm 4-hole, but also up to 12mm 4-hole. So you could fit some bigger motors on here. I mean, I wouldn't go above 1404, but you will be able to fit the DYS 1404s and I think the Supermans too, the Aerial Supermans too on this frame. So really neat design. Go check out their website. But before we end this video, let's just quickly see what the all-up weight is with a 450 10 tattoo 3S. 117, really not bad. I mean, the optimal weight according to the toothpick inventor Kebab is, if I remember correctly, 102 grams. So yes, we are like 10% above this, but we're kind of compromising on the weight to get some better component protection, durability, and replaceable arms. So, all right, really cool frame. I hope you found this useful, and yeah, thanks for watching, guys.